what is up, you guys? It's me, Amanda, and I'm back with another apartment renovation. So this time, I have a story. I have a few stories, and I kind of I sped this video up, but I wanted to make it longer so I could tell the stories. So let me just get right into the first one. Okay, so let me just tell you a little bit background of what I'm doing right now. Okay, so right now it is Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, when I'm doing this voiceover because I wanted to tell you about what happened in my week, my 2-day school week. So on Monday, in English class, right? Monday was a bad day for me because the night before I had stayed up till like 1 a.m. and then I fell asleep and I only got 4 hours of sleep because I had to wake up at 5 a.m. to go to my zero period, which is jazz, because I've told you this before. I have a jazz class that I do in the morning early. But I woke up early to go to this class. I went, even though I felt like utter crap. Anyway, I'm getting out of hand. I'm just going over the place. Anyway, I felt like crap Monday, and then I walk into my English class, which is my first period class, which is supposed to be my actual first class today, but there are zero periods sometimes. You don't have to take one. It's not necessary, but for me, I wanted to take it. Anyway, so I walked into my first period class, and the teacher's not there, and I'm like, okay. I sit down on my chair, and I have my backpack on my table, and then this guy rushes in, right? This adult, right? Not a student, okay? A flat out, like a literal adult. And he's got like I don't know if he had gray hair or like dark black hair, right? Just a dark hair. He's older, definitely, and he sits down in the chair. This first period hasn't started yet. I'm before the bell, okay, because I have 10 minutes between zero period and first period to do my hair, because I just leave my hair in a nasty bun for zero period. So I do my hair in the bathroom before I go to first period, and then I go and I take like a selfie or send it to my best friend or something, or I'll text like for 8 minutes or something, like before first period. And so I do that, and this guy, he rushes in and he's like, "I'm the sub for today. What's your name?" And I'm like, okay. And so I tell him my name, because obviously I'm a good person. I'm like, my name's Amanda. This class is like, we're chill, right? I wasn't lying. Like, my class is full of like chill kind of people. Like, I don't really know all of them that well, but we're kind of like, we're good students behavior-wise, I guess, like as a class. There's only like a couple of students that are bad, I guess, but like they're not bad in our class. They're just kind of chill. They don't do anything very much. And he's all over the place. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's like after class starts, he's like, "I'm the sub." I forgot his name. He's like, "I'm the sub, blah blah blah. My name is blah blah blah." Like he's like out of it, and he's like, "I'm sorry that I'm not the best substitute. I was out last night with my daughter. She's 29." He was telling us he told us his life story, basically. He's like, my daughter and I were out last night. She's like 29, and we were drinking at a bar, and I'm like, you realize we're like 16, right? Like, come on, like, you don't need to tell us this. Like, we don't care. And he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm new in the area. This is my first time subbing ever. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing, dude? You're here with a bunch of 16 and 15-year-olds, because I'm 15, okay? With a bunch of 15 and 16-year-olds telling us that you were just drinking the whole night away. And then you're here, probably hungover, teaching us. And so we're supposed to be well, I'm not even going to tell the whole story, because like I'm thinking of maybe making it a story time. I don't know. Okay, anyway, but basically Monday was tragic, and then Tuesday, yesterday, wasn't any better. Tuesday wasn't any better. So my teacher's back because she was sick. She was like, I was feeling out of it. I wasn't feeling good. So she was like, she told us she was sick. So we were like, all right, it's fine, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to say her name because that's rude. But we were like, yo, miss, it's fine, like, blah, you know. And then we start reading this book. We were supposed to start reading this book. Lord of the Flies. I almost said fries. Just shows how hungry I am. Okay, anyway. So she says, we were supposed to start reading Lord of the Flies yesterday, and I'm like, before class started, because she comes in before I do. She comes in after I do, because she doesn't like to be in there, like, at first. And it was like, it was this thing. Yes, Tuesday was tech day, right? My school has a thing where like all the tech students, like the SMT or like something like that. Well, the students will just like do this day where they do crazy stuff, and so that was just what they were doing. And I was like, okay, well, you know, she was like, I'm sorry about like yesterday, I was just not feeling well, and I know today's tech day and it's the last day before Thanksgiving break, and she was just not, you know, having it. She was like, I'm sorry, like, we'll just relax today. And so she just has to, like, she's telling us about, well, not like relax, but we were just like not doing very much. And so she was just showing us this paper, and then out of the blue, she's like, "Oh, I know what I'll do." And we were like, "Well, what are you gonna do?" And she was like, "For this new book we're reading, I'm gonna have you guys do a project." And we're like, "Oh, a project, cool!" Like, cause it's not a hard class, I guess. Like, it's pretty easy to me, and I don't do well. Like, that's not something I should be ashamed of that, but like, I'm not. Anyway, so she's like, I'll have you do this project where you'll have to work in survivor style teams. And if you don't know, like, I don't know, but like, if you know the show The Survivor or Survivor or something like that, I don't really know because I don't watch it, but my dad was explaining it to me. He was like, it's a show where there's like teams of people and they gotta like survive on this island type thing. Like, oh, you know, like, she was like, we'll do Survivor type teams, because Lord of the Flies, if you don't know the book, it's this book where these prep school kids, like snotty asshole kids, basically get stuck on an island because like the place they're from, like Britain or like something like that, the plane crashed into this remote island, and I'm like, why are we reading this? This is so boring. And she's like, well, for your project, you're going to be in survivor type teams, and I'm picking the teams. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, you're picking the teams. Like, if I had to pick my own team, I don't know who I'd pick, because I don't really know any of the kids in my class. And so I'm like, yeah, I don't know who I'd pick if I had to team with them. And she's like, oh, you don't have to worry about that. I'm picking the teams. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, you're picking the teams. Well then. And she's like, yeah, and I'm going to make sure it's someone you don't really talk to and you don't really know them, because it's going to be a bonding experience. And I'm just looking at myself. I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, okay, you're pushing it now with me. Like, because Tuesday I wasn't having it because I was not in the mood. I didn't go to jazz on Tuesday, which I kind of feel bad about. Like, but I didn't go. I was not feeling it, so I didn't go to jazz. And she was like, she looked at me and she was like, yep, and I think I know who I'm going to put you with. And I didn't ask her who. Like, I don't need to know who you're going to put me with. I'm just like, and in my mind, like, because after that, the bell rang, and so we had to leave because it was it was time for second period. And so I was like, oh, dear God. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, look, there's like a multitude of people she could put you with, like 25 kids in my class, 30 probably. Like, there's about like 30 kids she could put you with. It's not the worst. But the thing is, so if you remember like a couple of weeks ago, I told you guys this story about this guy who like traced my body. Yeah, that was for English class. He's in my English class, and none of the people at my school watch my videos, so I don't have to worry about him seeing this video. Which, he's also the same guy from my nightmare that I had. So, it's getting kind of creepy. And so I'm like, I'm hoping that he's not in my team, because I don't know how I could handle him being in my team after having that weird nightmare about him and having him say that kind of thing to me a couple of weeks ago. It's literally not going the best for me. It's really not. But that's the first story. And so the second story I have, actually, I have a couple of things I want to talk about, but I don't really know exactly what the next story I was going to tell is. Oh wait, I think I know. Okay, never mind. I got it. So I ordered a mic, and if you follow me on Twitter, which you should, the link is down below. Anyway, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I got like this new mic, and I showed it to you guys, but I can't like hook it up. Like, I can't. It just isn't, I don't know how to work it. And so I looked up how to work, I looked up the exact type of the mic. Like, it's like a Florian, like, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like Florian BM800 studio microphone that you can use for recording, something like that. I looked it up, and I was like, how do you set this up with HP computer? Like, I don't know the exact type of my computer, but I was like looking it up, and they were like, and it was like, you need this XLR cable, and like, you need like a adapter thing, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I was researching, and this kid, I don't remember who it was, but like, I was researching, and there was literally nothing helping me. Like, the only thing that when I looked up, like, I looked it up on YouTube, because that's normally what I do when I need to look something up, is that I just research it on YouTube. Like, most stuff is on YouTube. The only thing about this microphone was the fact that people were unboxing it. They didn't show, or like how they had their thing set up, but they didn't tell it how they set it up. They told what their setup looked like, or they showed what it looked like, and I was so mad because I was like, I spent like 20 something bucks, like $22 on this mic, and I don't even know how to set it up. And so I'm like, what do I do with it? So I'm like, now I have to email Amazon, and I'm like, come on, like, I got it yesterday. Like, by the time I'm doing this voiceover, it was yesterday, and I'm having it because I didn't order an arm for it because I thought it was gonna work for my computer, so I ordered the arm a day later. The arm is coming tomorrow by the time this video goes out. It's supposed to come tomorrow. I don't know what to do. Like, I can't just cancel it because that's like, I don't want to. But, so I'm gonna have it come anyway because I'm gonna be getting a new mic anyway. But I'm just gonna have to I'm gonna have to wait and like try to send this mic back and get a new one. And so I'm like, what do I do? Like, I don't know. It's crazy. And then what else was I gonna say? Oh, I have a funny thing. Middle school. I want to talk about middle school. A lot of people, okay, so I don't like talk about school experiences a lot. Like, I'm just weird like that. I don't do that. Anyway, but in middle school, the funny thing is that I didn't have a lot of friends, right? Like, I had a group of friends that I hung out with and like talked to, and they came over to my house, and I went over to their house and stuff like that, right? And like, so we were in some of the same classes for a little while, because like in middle school they offer, like, where I went, they offered these classes where they're high school classes. You get high school credit for them if you pass. And so I did. I took the classes because my dad's always wanted me to be like a top, and my mom's always wanted, like, not like a top like weirdly, but like a top of on top of everything, and like graduate early. And so is my mom. She's wanted me to be more like my brother, who, if you don't know, I have a lot of problems with my brother, because not because of who he is as a person, but because he's smarter than me, and I don't necessarily like that my mother's always comparing him to me and be like, oh, you should be more like your brother, blah blah blah. But that's a story for another time. Anyway, so I was in this class, and my friend was my best friend at the time was in this class too. I have a different best friend now because I haven't talked to this person that I was friends with at the time in like a year. I mean, I talked to them like a month ago, but like that's a long time away. So, and so this person was in my class, and after the semester and like the first semester ended, she got, like, her and her twin brother got kicked out of the class. Not because they were like bad, but because like something happened, and like they just got moved out. Like, they didn't get kicked out, but they like moved out themselves. Like, they didn't want to be in the class anymore. So I was like, okay. And then this other girl, I'm not really friends with her. Like, we were acquaintances, but me and her never hung out. She was also in the class, and she moved out as well. And so I was alone, like, in the class. Like, I had no one to talk to. I had no friends in there because I was so dependent on, like, these people. And the other people in the class were just really rude to me. And, like, I was just like, So, but the point of the story is, like, I had a friend in there, and she actually lived relatively close to the school, which is kind of funny because she lived, like, not even that far from the school, right? She lived like not even half of a mile. Like, her house was in walking distance of the school, right? And my house was like a mile away from her house. So it wasn't that far of a walk if I wanted to walk to her house or walk to my own house, right? And I was like doing really bad in the class. Like, I had a D- or something. And so I was like, the teacher was like, can you stay after school for tutoring and make sure you have a ride? And I was like, yeah. And I told my dad, and he was like, I'll be sure to make sure to pick you up. And like, because my mom was gone somewhere, I don't remember. She was like, my dad was like, yeah, I'll make sure to pick you up. And then, like, on the day I was supposed to stay, I think it was a Thursday that I stayed, my dad was like, I'm sorry, I can't come pick you up. Why don't you just walk to your friend's house or walk home because it's not that far? And I was like, okay, I'll do that. The teacher didn't know I was going to do this, And the thing with that is that I was walking out and she was like, "Oh, where's your dad?" And I was like, because I was walking like towards the road, and she was like, "Where's your parents? Where's your parents? Or where's your mom?" And I was like, "Oh, well, my mom's gone." Like blah blah blah. And she was like, "Oh, well, where's your dad?" And I was like, "Oh, he's at work. He's supposed to come get me, but like I'm just gonna walk to my friend's house. It's like right there." And she was like, but why are you gonna walk home? And I was like, I'm just gonna walk home. It's like I lied and said that my house was right there, but obviously it wasn't my house. I was like, my house is right there. It's fine. Like, don't worry about it. And she was like, okay, are you sure? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay. And then like she's not like very sure. And then she's just like she turns around to walk in, and then I started walking, and then she's like she turns around and she like jogs towards me, I guess, and she's like, wait, you don't have to walk home. I'll take you home, like, you know. And then she was like, where do you live? And I was like, I'm sorry, I lied. My house isn't right there. It's like, well, okay, I didn't really like lie. I was like, my house isn't that far, because I said my house isn't that far. It's like up the road a little way. And she was like, well, what's your address? Like, and so I told her my address. And I wasn't the only one she took home, which is actually kind of interesting, because there was this other kid who like his teacher was a dad or something. Like his dad was a teacher. My bad, I got it mixed up. His dad was a teacher, and so she took him home as well because his dad was working late, and like his mom was supposed to have him for the weekend or something like that, because it was like a Thursday or a Friday, right? And so she takes me home, and she's like, this was like a mile and a half. You could not have walked this. And I was like, oh, yeah, I could. And she was like, with your backpack? And I was like, yes. And she was like, not having it. She was like, I don't believe you. Like, you know, you could not have walked this. Trust me. And I was like, I've done it before. And she's like, you walked to school? And I was like, no, I walked to my friend's house, which is like right down the road. It's the same distance. And she's like, well, next time, make sure you have a ride set up and don't make people have to take you home. And I was like, you didn't have to take me home. I could have walked. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, because I've done this route, like, 5 times before, like from my house to my friend's house. I've even done it in the middle of the night, like at 1 a.m. because my friend, like, I don't want to like tell the story now, like I'll tell it Friday or something, but because I'm running out of time. But you know, my house, like, we were really not that far from my house, so I could have just walked home, right? Or I could have just walked to my friend's house and she would have been home already. Like, I could have just walked to her house and be like, yo, I'm like gonna crash for like 30 minutes before I walk home, and she'd have been like, alright with it, like, you know. So it wasn't really that big of a deal. The teacher just, you know, made it into something it wasn't. Anyway, yeah, anyway, I'm going to go now. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. And do not forget to subscribe, because I make new videos every couple of days. Anyways, yeah. Also, if you'd like to see more of me, there are links down in the description to follow me on other social places. I have about everything, but I don't put all of them in the description, so make sure you check that. You can go check me out everywhere, especially on Twitter. You should go follow me on there because I'm great. Alright, I'll see you all later. Bye, everyone.